Good evening, everyone, and welcome to How the Culture Gets It Wrong. It's our podcast on dating, sex, and relationship insights with myself, Andre Parody, my lovely assistant, Tess Listic.
Hi, everyone.
Tess in the house. My wife, Nancy.
Hello, everyone.
Parody. And we have a special guest star all the way from San Diego this evening, Ray, Irelan. Ray, say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Hi.
So the topic this evening, oh, good Lord, I'm excited. It's called, ladies, listen to this. I can't even stand it. It's called Leading from the Feminine, the Unspoken Strength. Oh, I want to say it again. I have to say it again.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Leading from the feminine, the unspoken strength. How many times have I said, you ladies have all the power.
Yes.
Your strength is your femininity. It's not your masculine pushing and, so Ray's going to actually get us or help us understand what that looks like, how that works, how to do it, right? And also, apparently, we're going to have some role models to follow after, or you will.
Ooh.
Because this is really the problem that I see. Like, what are the role models for women who actually are, powerful and from the feminine in our culture? Like blank, just
Yeah.
who, right?
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one. So thank you for joining us. I think it's going to be a fantastic podcast. So just so the audience can connect, to this and you. So Ray, tell us how you get to be you. How do you get to become this person who's helping women with, being feminine in this world of masculine everything?
Yeah, well, it's definitely been a battle, and to be able to find what that means, even what it means to be feminine, what does it mean to actually be masculine, and not just live from what we think they should look like, what the feminine should look like and what the masculine should look like. And so I think a lot of my journey has begun just by being an artist myself. So starting off dancing from a young age. I think the first time I was on stage was I was 2. So
Nice.
literally grew up dancing, and I know you're all dancers as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
So it's
Love
a
it.
fun mutual field right here. But so being in the body, being a dancer, being in the physical really helped me understand what it meant to be masculine and feminine, and when to be fluid and when to really be strong and right?
Hallelujah.
Yeah,
So that's funny
Oh
that
my goodness,
Andre
that's
talks
beautiful.
about that
I'm like,
all the time.
That's all I talk about all the
He's in
time.
heaven right now.
Oh. But she's going to go on with this. I can't,
Yeah.
in the ways that I
Yeah.
can't.
There's
Please
more.
continue. I'm
Yeah,
sorry
yeah.
we interrupted. This is so rude.
So that's definitely a core piece, is how our physical bodies expressing and embodying the different feminine and masculine energies. And sometimes I actually like to shift the language, because I think when we talk about feminine, we immediately think about women, which is still kind of this skewed. We still don't really know what that should or looks like. And then we think masculine is this like man figure that, it's either the father figure in our life or our romantic partner or something like that. So I like to shift the language into alpha and omega. It kind of takes off the gender and lets us look at just what's there. And so a lot of my work has stemmed from the arts, like I was sharing, and so it's from dance, from getting in the body, and then also from singing and becoming more familiar with the strength and the softness that carries in our voice, which our voice is really our vibrational impact that we're making on the world. So a lot of people don't think about the importance of how you're using your voice, but it really is how you put yourself out there. It's what you're saying. It's how you're communicating.
It's vibrations,
Yeah.
of course.
Wow.
It's
Really?
vibrations directly from you outwards.
Exactly.
Wow.
And, there's a lot of talk right now, which is really important, about sustainability and being eco-conscious. And I think another level of that is being vibrationally conscious. What vibration are you putting out into the planet, into your living situations, into your workplace, and how are you carrying yourself? So
What are you bringing? What are you bringing? And, what's your responsibility in that?
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly. It's important. I think, words can hurt, and words can heal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've all experienced the full spectrum of
Right.
that.
So from dancing, give you like this embodied. I totally get it. And you say it like from a dancer's point of view, a singer's point of view, vibrations, connection. Like to me as a dancer, was always what was amazing. What made me keep dancing and more is like the vibration of the music coming together with the hit of my, like vibration of my body to hit the music with my body, like the rhythm, the timing. You know what I mean? Like that. Those are double energies coming like whack, choo, choo, ka. You know what I mean? Like that. Oh, that feels so good, right? It's all energy vibrations. So from that, I get it from your beginning as an artist, but then how does that transform into the woman that you are now? Like teaching this stuff, like what was this? There was something that had to happen somewhere.
Right. So I definitely had a big awakening where I got so disassociated from my body that I really wasn't living. To put it clearly, I wasn't living, and it was almost like I was choosing daily to not live. And this came in the form of depression. This came in the form of substance abuse. This came in the form of relationship abuse. As I was at this point, I was touring nationally with my band nonstop. We would do like 20 shows a month. It was crazy.
Ooh.
Wow.
And so
insane.
I was just living the rock and roll, sex, drugs, rock and roll lifestyle. And as fun as it was for that little period, I really lost myself. And as we get outside of our bodies, as we're not aware of the presence that we hold, then things kind of get mucky and they can go downhill really fast. And so for me, that led me literally downhill as I woke up alone in my car rolling down a canyon. I had driven it off of a cliff.
Like you've passed out, fell asleep, like.
Yeah, it was after a late night gig. I had been drinking. I had drugs in my pocket. I passed out and I woke up while the car was rolling down.
Oh my god.
And
when was this? When was this? Sorry, just.
This was in 2014. Yeah.
And then
so
what? Yeah.
There was a voice that I heard that said, you've been saying that you don't want to live kind of every day. So here's your out. Want it?
Oh.
And I was like, no!
I'm glad.
As you're tumbling down the canyon?
Oh god.
As you're tumbling down the
I was
canyon?
tumbling down.
Okay, hold on.
So,
damn.
yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
And then what?
So in that moment, I'm like, wait, no, I'm here. Like, I'm here to do something. And this is not how I thought this was going to end up. Like, oh shit. And, so.
I have a question. I'm sorry I'm interrupting.
No worries.
You heard the voice? Was that a voice?
It was a voice.
Who was the voice?
The voice really sounded like my own voice. But it was something that was much greater. It's God, Spirit, the one with 1,000 names, like who, but I think it came in the form of my own voice in my head. But it was very clear that it was an outside force saying like, hey, wake up. It's time.
Wow.
Okay.
So was that kind of the pivotal moment, and then from there, you kind of just snapped out of it from there? Or was there a transitional period where you kind of slowly started? Yeah, exactly.
Well, I got a pretty abrupt awakening as I climbed up the canyon, and I literally had no scratches or bruises on me. I had angels definitely looking out. And so I climbed up, but then it was like this brutal awakening of cop cars and ambulance and all the lights. And so I would say that the next 8 hours were a living hell. And there was nothing else I could do. Literally, I was like, my life is over. Everything I thought I wanted to do, everything the person that I thought I could be, it's done. And that was really, really difficult. And actually, there's a really great little story that was one of the key moments that kind of brought it all back into focus. Was while I was sitting in in jail, just like waiting and figuring out what the heck is going on
Because
here.
of DUI, right?
I was
You were drunk?
DUI,
Got it.
and I was looking at the floor, and I was just like zoning everyone out in the room, and I didn't want to like talk to anyone, and I'm like, everyone else is crazy in here. I'm not supposed to be in here. And finally I had this moment. I was like, well, I'm here, so may as well like open my eyes and take responsibility and see, okay, who am I here with? I looked to the woman next to me, and she's like the crazy woman, and we just kind of start talking, and she actually starts acting normal, and she had been screaming all night, punching the walls. And I find out her name is Norma. And I had written a song about like a year before about a crazy woman named Normally. And so I'm looking at her, I'm like, I wrote a song about you.
Wow.
Like,
oh my God.
She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I wrote a song about you. She's like, can you sing it? We're supposed to be silent in here, right? And so I start singing the song, and before I know it, literally all the other women, and it's only women in here, all the other women in the room start singing along with me. And they're like snapping their fingers and clapping. And for a moment, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to be put in like solitude or something, because like I'm like starting this like riot. And I look at the guards, and they're kind of just like, okay, you got like 30 more seconds to wrap this up.
Wow.
And so I sang, and then that was literally the moment where I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter where I am. I'm me, and I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm going to bring my vibration wherever I go. So if I'm stuck in here, I'll have a book by the time I'm done or something like that. Luckily, I was able to not be stuck in there for too long, but that was really the pivotal moment. And so quickly after, I ended up traveling through Central America. I got into some deep healing work. I met with shamans, studied with shamans, and then I came back to the United States, and it was go time for me. I immediately got this idea to start a festival. I thought it was going to be more of a party, but it quickly escalated into a 300-person festival called the Goddess Fest, celebrating the feminine energy, the divine feminine.
Hello.
Wow. That is so cool.
So that the celebrate the feminine came from the shaman work and the all the healing work?
It did, because a lot of the healing work was really coming back into my body. I had dealt with eating disorders my whole life growing up in ballet studios. I had gone through abortion, so my womb just felt like this dark, dirty place, sexual trauma, everything, you name it. So a lot of the healing work was not about, let's look at your substance abuse patterns, but it was like, let's look much deeper what's here. And what showed up was that I didn't want to be a woman, and I didn't want to be here. So I had to redevelop my relationship with my womb and with my creative center to be able to come into a place of alignment.
Didn't want to be a woman and didn't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, you made my head spin.
Our jaws are just kind of...
I know, like, I did not...
open here.
No, the thing is, I see that a lot, honestly, because, I'm a relationship coach, and I deal with a lot of women, and I'm trying to get them to sort of embrace being a woman and feminine, and I see the resistance, if not completely conscious, they're not conscious of it. They're just, like, have pushed all that out because they're trying to, like, be badasses and act like men and kind of show off in that, and it's killing them. So how do you go? So why don't we jump right to, like, so how do you produce results from the feminine as a woman? If you're going to then accept being a woman and embrace it all the way, thank Lord for you, thank Jesus for you, and tell us.
Yeah, well, I think the starting point is that it's not a competition. And so many women and men, it's been this competitive thing. And so it's one against the other, or, battle of the sexes, the feminist movement, and all of this. And that has really divided us. And so being able to understand that, okay, what does this union actually look like? And okay, if we're really wanting world peace, then we got to figure out this union, because it's half and half against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And first, before doing that, you have to find that union within yourself. And so, because of the society and how we've been raised, and the systems that we're put through, we're almost bred to be living in this very masculine
Yep.
masculine way, right?
How the culture gets it wrong. This is what this whole podcast is about. Like, when you bring it back to balance, the what works better, which is what you're talking about. I'm sorry I cut you off again, but
he's excited.
Yeah,
I'm really excited.
We're all excited here.
it's like we just get, it's like so passionate, because it's needed so much right now, especially like we can't wait any longer.
So the culture says be manly, pushy, competitive, and you say.
And I say, actually, that's all BS.
Thank you.
And there's this whole superpower that women have forgotten about, and have been like, we're like trying to run this race, and yet we like left our superpower at the starting line that could have just like propelled us, forward, and could have like picked everyone up along the way.
Right.
And
God,
so,
I say this all the time. I said, you have, as a woman, your femininity is the most powerful thing in the world that you have, not your masculine. Badasses. It's your femininity. That's your ultimate power. Like, it's just, that is the juice. But in our culture, we make that somehow it's weak, because somehow you forgot it. You left it in the closet. And what seems to be powerful is to emulate what men do, because that's big power, that's masculine power. But that's not where a woman's power stands or comes from. Mm-hmm. Tell us more.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And I think, some of these superpowers are trusting in ourselves, trusting in our body, our intuition, and our emotions. And these are pieces that we get that have been so criticized over time. So, I mean, you hear about the emotional woman that's just like absolutely crazy. You hear about the intuitive woman that is actually a witch, so she's got to get burned, right? So we see this throughout history, and just now is this rebirth where women are actually able to come out and step out and say, I'm actually feeling this, and maybe there's something to this intelligence. It doesn't all have to come from the mind. It doesn't all have to come from the brain. There's so many studies that show that we're not using our full brain capacity. But what about the capacity of our body, especially as women, the capacity of our womb center and our energy center, where we literally create life? So if we're creating life from there, what would happen if we start creating businesses from that spot? What would happen if we start creating relationships from that spot? It would be life-changing. And I think we can all say that we could all use a little bit more compassion and love in the world right now.
I agree.
And that's really one of the centerpieces of it.
I say this all the time, because I deal with women in the world, in the workforce, in our culture, that we as men, we live in our heads. You know what I mean? We're kind of wired that way. Like, we're all thinker and planning and, logical and linear and, like from the head. Very little access to our hearts. I mean, we do, but it's typically through our bodies when we have sex. Women say men are always obsessed with sex because that's one of the channels that we come out of our heads, right? We feel something when we use our bodies, and we use our bodies out of our heads through sex. So we connect with sex to get us out of our heads. We need you, not only physically, but we need you energetically, to get us out of our heads. This is where we're better. Like, you like us the most when we're out of our heads and our hearts, right? But that's why men meditate, trying to get out of their freaking heads, because it's naturally in our bodies, physically, it's physically difficult for most of us, not all, but for most of us, the more masculine, to not live through our heads constantly and just be disconnected from everything, everyone, and the feminine. So we need the feminine to bring us down, and actually be a lot more sensible, sensitive, aware, connected. You can't do this. Why not? Because it's not really nice. What do you mean? Like the awareness that we need from you in that. But if you lose that from being masculine, then we all fall apart. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the union is falling apart. Like the two pieces necessary are missing.
One thing that I do think is really important is that we all learn to take our sovereignty to the next level in terms of becoming really responsible with keeping the energetic balance within us as individuals.
Amen.
And I think that actually really helps the women tap into their feminine when we do feel like we can trust ourselves in our masculine. And same for the men. When the men can be in their heads and be, cranking on their work and have that like arrow where they want to go and be very directional, they still can tap into their heart. The more that we can be in that balance individually, then it actually becomes, it's less of like, I need you to be this and you need me to be that, but we can actually just come together and play. And I think that's so much what we're wanting in our relationships anyways. And that way, the natural energy of the masculine and feminine can just come out and be seen.
And play.
Wow. So it seems like a lot of it is like trust within yourself and the ability to bring out both those energies, or at least know what they look like.
Yeah, at least have a feeling, because so many people don't even remember what it's like to feel feminine.
Vulnerable.
So many women totally forget that.
How do you teach this to people? How do you get them to tap in to their femininity that way?
Yeah, so some of the best work comes from just getting back into your body, dancing, coming into your singing, drawing, painting, all of these creative elements and expressions that you most likely played around with when you were a little girl, bringing them back into your life. And so with the clients that I work with, we go deep in these containers of 6 months, 9 months, or longer, where we'll actually go and look at what happened in their childhood, look at what happened between the ages of 4 and 7, and what were those times, those pivotal moments where you were maybe playing around with your creativity and someone told you not to, or someone said, no, that's not good enough. There's so many outside voices that we really soak in at that age, and it's a pivotal time where you put the paintbrush down, you stop dancing as much, you don't sing in the public anymore because you're like, oh, my voice people don't want to hear me. And so the work that I do with my clients is we go back to those times and we really look at and kind of open this jar of worms to see what happened and what is actually true. We have so many stories attached to what happened that we don't even realize, but it's playing out 10 years, 20 years, 40 years after this instance, and it's totally running our life. So when we can come back to that, and then basically what we do is just play from that space and reintroduce the little girl back into your life.
And get free again.
Amazing.
Get free, I guess.
Ray, I want to support you in that, because I'm hearing in my head right now so many people either on comments or have said to me, I miss dance so much. I wish I'd never, let it go. I used to dance when I was younger. And to me, when I say dance, I feel like everything you just mentioned, that artistic, exploratory, just Pandora's box of just, expressing yourself. And it's so sad, because I get to fortunately dance every day still. And to not have that either taken away because it's not realistic or for whatever other reason, it seems like such a shame. And you're just giving this back to people and permission, and you're giving color back into people's lives. And I want to say this because people can't see you, but you just glow.
She does. She's like the sunshine over there across the computer screen.
Just
thank
beauty.
you.
Yeah.
Imagine being in their presence. I'm serious.
Can I ask one more question? Maybe you could put this in a different place.
No.
When you were talking about your journey down the hill that, started all of this, I was thinking about how we all, because I'm struggling so much to find that feminine force in life, but we all have that journey, whether it's dramatic or subtle, but it's almost like you just have to take that step. What is it that propels us to take that step? And we don't really have role models, and society's yelling at us all these horrible things. So it's just inner journey, right? And like these special things that help us get there is what you provide.
Exactly. And I think life provides it too. You know, life gives us exactly what we need and the medicine we need at the time we need it, and the people come in, and being able to remember that is definitely something that's really tricky.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow.
You know, yeah,
He's spinning over here.
I'm
He's just
spinning like, you know, well, because I haven't had the words for these, you know, for this as a man,
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to,
yeah.
you know, work with the ladies. I'm going to say what, again, if we talk about where the culture has it wrong, is that all these things that are feminine and life-giving and you know, like feeding your soul and your essence and your spirit as a woman, that is all better for you and for us, really, as people around you in the world. Again, where our culture gets it wrong is that we make that silly, not important. You know, get to work, get some money, get to, what are you doing? You're supposed to be on the freeway already. What do you know? I mean, forget dancing is stupid. It's not going to get, and that's not true. Are you with me? Right?
Well,
that's not true. It's the exact opposite,
no.
right? That should be
And-
essentially on the plans, on the schedule, part
Exactly.
of.
And what is amazing, and this is why I have clients, is that it actually helps them make more money,
Right.
have better relationships, have better sex, be a better person, you know, be able to wake up in the morning and say, oh my gosh, like, I don't want to keep snoozing my alarm because I'm exhausted and I'm not
Right.
excited about my life. Like, I'm ready to jump up and get out of bed and like start creating momentum and doing things in the world.
As a woman, it'll feed your soul and your spirit, which is where you're the best and healthy for your bodies, healthy for your mind and your energy. But then, again, I want to take it back to what it does to us. We're talking about the dance, right, of like masculine and feminine, and how we need that from you for us to even step up. Because when that fades away from you, we can't feel you. We can't be with you. We don't get you. We can't be around it, or even like man up in a sense, if we're going to use that phrase, because you're not even present.
Right.
You know?
And there has to be this opening,
Yeah.
this just a sense of allowing, a sense of surrender. And really, I think nature can show that to us really easily. You know, the tides come in and out, the seasons change, they shift. And so allowing the body and the conversations and the dialogue between your partners is one of the most important things, and really just softening, opening, allowing whatever's present to be there.
And being vulnerable. I say this all the time. Without vulnerability, nothing good happens between us.
Definitely.
You know, vulnerable is scary if you're been raised to be badass, but without vulnerability, again, we can't feel you. We can't feel
It's
you.
one of those superpowers.
Yes, thank you.
Strength.
Thank you. So just because we're like, you know, we could talk all night long, obviously.
We could.
So throw us something like an example of a success story with your clients, because I think that's going to be just, you know, put a cherry on it.
Yes, definitely. One of my clients was having a really hard time. She's a coach, and she was having a really hard time attracting clients. And this was a phase where she was heavy in the sales, heavy in the marketing, and she was just scaling her business. And she was just struggling so much. And throughout the struggle, it then turned into something more emotional in her physical body. You know, different signs were showing up. And so we started working and really dropping back into the space of flow states. What does that mean? And being in your creativity and taking out the shoulds of your life and doing what you want to do, and, you know, still keeping that responsibility, keeping that the masculine backbone strong, and moving forward with a little bit more grace and that feminine flow. And it was amazing what happened, because all of a sudden she just started doing what she loved. And while she was in those places doing what she loved, that's where her soul dream clients were hanging out. You know? Oh my goodness.
That is.
And so then she started landing some of her best, like, biggest playing clients. And literally the pieces started falling together. She made a few adjustments in her business, got more support in creating teams, and it was incredible to watch this be revealed,
Right.
because it really wasn't about, oh, well, we need to strengthen this and we need to add this on top of this. It was really about that opening.
Right.
And I think that's a very feminine quality to embrace.
Absolutely, because if you're going to go business and masculine, you're going to go into strategies, and calculating, and this, if you say this should happen, and this should respond this way, and you counteract or respond with this phrase. You know what I mean? That's all very calculating, and then not very authentic. You know what I mean? And it works often on man, but for a woman, I want to say. You know what I mean? So when you let
it
all
can
that
work.
go, it can work. It can work
for a little bit,
Right.
and then you get burnt out.
Right. And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
it's not authentic anymore. It's calculated. It feels and smells calculated, and sort of well, I see your point, but not interested really. Like there's something I say this all the time when even on a date when a woman isn't quite okay, he doesn't know what it is, but she's not something, she's cool, but she's cool. But no, you know what I mean? And so that'll ruin business as well. That trying too hard and that being too much in your head, because I guess your essence is in your feminine, loving essence, which is not from the head, right? In your body, in your chest, in your love, in your heart.
And going back into what feels good too,
right? Because
it's more fun.
And people pick that up. It's authentic, and they want to be around that, as opposed to
Oh my gosh.
they want to be around that. That's really the magic there. Men, women, everybody. Tess.
I just think that was the best example you could have given, because that's what I want to do. I kind of want to. I'm more of the business mindset, but I also am very feminine as well, and I also I find that really hard to deal with, that balance there. And that was a great example, just being able to figure out that flow and that way of living in order to help support your business, and just that it's possible to kind of do both, but to be coming at it from a feminine perspective rather than that driving force that just is so masculine.
And also it's more powerful than coming from your head as a woman.
Yeah.
That's more powerful. It's just juice. It's the juice of life. It's authentic. It's, it resonates.
I'm so inspired.
I know.
This is
I think I'm
amazing.
like fuzzy, and I'm a guy. I don't get fuzzy. I'm all fuzzy.
I love it.
It's weird. I'm not sure what to do with this. So we're kind of pretty much at time. So Ray, tell us how people could find you, because you're absolutely fantastic. So how do people get to find you?
Yes, so they can find me at my website, www.raeirelan. That's RAEIRELAN, Ireland, like the country without a D at the end, .com. And on there you can find my music, find my videos, find my content. And there's also a subpage that will take you to the Goddess Fest, which is now started as a 300-person festival out in the mountains of California, and now is a virtual festival. So it's the Global Goddess Fest, uniting female leaders around the world, inspiring women to tap into their feminine power and really use it to be a force of good.
Wow.
That's
so awesome.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Cool.
If I was can I go? You have to be a girl, right?
Oh, yeah.
Can I go?
Guys can go, because guys are interested in this, and I think they should know what we're doing and take whatever pieces they want and just, get inspired.
We're there.
Do your own thing. And
We're there. All of us, we're there.
That's awesome.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you for that. So, Tess, how do people find us?
Sure. So the Facebook page is Project Equinox with Andre Parody. We have content on there all the time. The website is projectequinox.net. We have blog written material. We have YouTube links, audio clips. Please subscribe there as well. We have content every week. And this is also where you may contact Andre via email or phone number for coaching, private coaching, group coaching, and live events as well.
There you go. Well, ladies, this is fantastic.
This is great.
I'm almost speechless. That never happens. That never happens.
Yeah.
Ray,
Oh,
thank you so
awesome.
much. That was really, really, really awesome. You brought in the piece that I struggle with all the time, and you just provided for our listeners. And
amazing. Well, thank you so much for having me on here. It was great to talk with all of you, and it's such an important topic. So I'm glad that we were able to share
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Thank you so much. And for our listeners, thank you for listening. And then,
Thank
you know,
you.
if you like this, obviously share it with all you lady friends who are struggling in this culture. Absolutely. That's the point. That's all we're doing here. We're just trying to, you know, uplift the culture and sort of bring a different paradigm of like thinking it through as opposed to buying straight up what the culture says is righteous. So with that, until next week,
Yes.
another juicy topic. And ladies, thank you so much, all of you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ray.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Tess.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Nancy.
Thank you.
Until next week,
Sure.
thank you so
Yeah.
much. Good night, everyone.
Night.